Today, in honor of International Women's Day, I'm talking women and money with Chanel Christoff Davis, who is a board member of, I'm going to say this correctly, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. And they're a group that certifies women-owned businesses to make women-owned business founders with one another. Chanel is host of the podcast Follow the Leader and one of the founding partners of an accounting firm. She actually understands taxes, the largest women and minority owned sales tax advisory practice in the nation. That's pretty impressive. And she's joining me now to talk about women-owned businesses in COVID, what it will take for them to survive and thrive. Hi, Chanel.
Hi.
Before we start, I just want to tell everybody how we met.
Okay.
Which is Chanel is a News Not Noiser, and she writes the most funny and or insightful DMs. Whenever I see your name, I open it right away because I know I'm going to laugh or learn. And we've become Instagram friends.
Yeah, basically. I sent you a joke. You put out a request for the word of the year for 2020. I sent you a funny word and you just cracked up and we just became fast friends.
That's true. And Chanel you're an accomplished business owner yourself, and you sit on the board of this organization. Before we get into the state of business for women, would you tell us a little bit about the organization and what it does?
Absolutely. So the Women's Business Executive National Council is quite powerful. It's an amazing organization that connects women-owned businesses. You have to be 51% woman-owned with government contracts and corporate entities. So if you could think of any company, Fortune 500 in the country, it gives you an opportunity seeks to level the playing field, so to speak, so that you have an opportunity to introduce yourself, your qualifications and your capabilities, and meet with these large entities where you wouldn't normally have that opportunity.
You open the door.
Yes, it opens the door.
And you must see a ton of women businesses, and you understand what's going on in this environment. So
absolutely,
let's talk a little bit about it and how COVID has hurt women's economic progress right now. In September, I understand 4 times as many women as men dropped out of the labor force. And moms frequently DM me saying that they had to leave the workforce to take care of their kids. But as of mid-December, there had been 1.5 million new business applications. That's up 82% compared to last year.
Yes.
And it's different from the 2007-2008 recession when there was a contraction of new business development. Now it's an explosion. But are women starting new small businesses, or is it really dudes?
Absolutely. We are seeing an explosion of women-owned businesses because COVID-19, they're terming it the she recession, the she session, that majority of the women are being affected because we largely service companies in service industries. If you think about it, hotels, restaurants, the hospitality industry are largely employed, they employ women. So because they're leaving the labor force in droves, we're seeing a record number of women start their own businesses, which is very, very exciting.
That's great. At the same time, it's been trying for women-owned businesses. Some of the statistics we found say that female small business owners are less likely to expect future success in the coming year compared to male owners, and that they're more likely to report a decline in overall business health right now. Why is that?
I think because women are splitting their time between their business and focusing on their revenue and generating business and basically being caretakers at home. They're, educating their kids, they're homeschooling, they're taking care of the whole, we're the foundation of the home. So that's a unique challenge for women-owned businesses. So, and also even before COVID, the Forbes magazine cited that of all women-owned businesses, there's only less than 2% that ever make it above $1 million mark or above in revenue, which is atrocious. So many women-owned businesses are, self-employed. You're self-employed in a way. You're a sole entrepreneur, which is great. But there are women who start businesses that want to actually grow their business to the point where they hire employees and they become an enterprise. So for those women who really want to take their business to the next level and scale, as we call it, there's so many resources out there. And that's what I thought was important that we shine a light on. We should celebrate the ingenuity and the innovation of women, but we also need to support them to make sure that they realize their goals.
Okay, will you talk about some of the resources?
Absolutely. So as you stated in the opener, my company, and I'm celebrating 20 years in business. So I'm speaking from a place. Yes, we started our business the month after September 11th, which in retrospect was crazy, but we didn't know that was crazy. But over 20 years, I've learned so much. One of the things I think about entrepreneurship is that you can feel very siloed. Mm-hmm. And you kind of put your head down and you're focused on your thing and you're really, really in your own, bubble. And I want to encourage women to resist the temptation to try to do it on their own. You have to engage advocacy groups such as Women's Business Executive National Council. If you're a woman of color, you own the enterprise and you're 50% owner, 51% or higher, you need to be certified dual, National Minority Supplier Development Council, as well as WBENC. WBENC is the acronym for Women's Business Executive National Council. You need to do both because they're advocacy groups. They're going to give you information before it even hits the news. We find out about PPP and EIDL and grants. So actual dollars are flowing to women businesses I haven't seen anything like this. So because I'm tapped into all these advocacy groups, I find out about grants on a daily basis, money that they're just giving women to support their initiatives.
And all you need to do to qualify is be verified or certified as a 51% woman-owned or minority-owned business.
Yes, and there is a certification process. You have to be 51% owned, woman or minority, depending on what certification you're going for. And there's a verification process. They're going to ask you for some articles of incorporation, regulations. They're going to do a virtual, because we're in COVID times. They used to come to your business, but now they do a virtual check-in to see that indeed you're a woman. So there's some checks and balances that goes into the certification process. But I have to really encourage women to seek the certification out because it's an army of amazing, powerful women, and you want to be a part of that sisterhood.
Can you qualify even if you don't have employees?
Absolutely. You can start a business today and start your certification process tomorrow. So there's not that barrier of entry. You really want, and I'm speaking from experience. I waited way too long to get my certification. If I had to do it all over again, I would have been certified day one when I started my business, because I have grown by leaps and bounds since I've gotten certification.
Because also of the network, I imagine it helps to be networking with other women who give you advice and introduce you to opportunities.
Absolutely. So, and as you mentioned before, I am on the National Forum, which is the advisory board for Women's Business Council, Executive National Council. So I belong to a local chapter as well as you're also automatically a part of the national chapter. But because you're a part of that network, like I said, you're giving executive educational programs. Like I've been educated through Harvard Business School. I have gone to do programs like Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. I've received grant money directly into my pocket to support my dreams and to support my business enterprise. So it's more than just a sisterhood. I want people to understand that you're not joining a sorority. We are about business, and we're about getting you your money. Okay, gone are the days that we are just small businesses that aren't actually moving the needle and starting businesses that thrive. Like I'm very proud of the fact that I have a staff of individuals that I employ, and I'm actually affecting their personal economy. Like people are actually raising their families and paying their mortgage off salaries that I pay. I take that very seriously, and it's a responsibility. So you need a network of women who are doing what you're doing, because we've already done it. So why start from zero with no support? We really need to lean in to the sisterhood of helping each other. That's what we're celebrating today, International Women's Day.
Okay. Somebody says you just inspired me to register. So
great.
We'll tell you how you can get more information in a minute. So I want to ask you about some of the stats.
Yes.
The U.S. has 12.3 million women-owned businesses, or 40% of U.S. businesses, small businesses, are women-owned. U.S. women-owned businesses generate $1.8 trillion a year. 64% of new women-owned businesses were started by women of color last year. There are 114% more women entrepreneurs than there were 20 years ago. These are all great, great, great stats.
Amazing.
At the same time, the numbers show that enterprises founded or co-founded by women receive less than half of the investment on average than those founded or co-founded by men. So they earn more money, but they're able to raise less. To what do you attribute this? And would you talk about what are the unique biases that women and minorities who run businesses have to overcome?
I think we're not funded as easily as male-owned enterprises. I mean, that's just a fact. There have been statistics that go into the fact that if I go into a bank to seek a loan, I'm scrutinized at a much higher rate, even though I've been in business for 20 years. It does not matter. And I've paid back business loans over and over and over again, and they see that data. They still put me through my paces. It never fails. However, I'm very blessed that I'm a numbers geek. So you really can't you can't throw anything at me because I have an answer for everything that you're going to come up with. But think about a person who does not have an accounting degree, who does not feel like they're well versed in a profit and loss statement or balance sheet statement. Like, I'm so bold that I'm like, let me talk to your underwriter. I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's me. But you need women in your corner that's going to help you role play. Call me on Zoom. Talk to me like you're going to talk to the loan officer, and then we're going to role play. And I'm going to say, okay, what about this and what about that? And I'm going to poke holes in your requests. But you need that type of support, and that's why I think women fail, because they go it alone. They, don't really seek the support that they need. They don't have women in their back. And I'm speaking from experience. I didn't have this when I first started my business, right? So I want women to learn from what the mistakes I made. Don't do what I did, okay? Start out early with seeking out advice and going and tapping into these advocacy networks, because they're there for a reason. And yes, there's a small fee to get certified. It differs, but it's probably somewhere around $200, $250, somewhere in that range. Nominal fee. I believe it's worth it. But in addition to that, if you're not ready for that, there's also the SBA. I think a lot of people really, really underestimate the SBA. The SBA you're already paying for.
From the government, U.S.
Small
government.
Business Administration. You're already paying for that money. Your tax dollars are already funding your local SBA. So the fact that you're not using it is just, it's just a waste of your resources, right? So everyone has a local SBA that has a plethora of opportunities and resources. SBA has a program called SCORE, the Senior Council of Retired Executives. These are literally retired executives from Fortune 500 companies that have nothing else to do but to help you with your business.
You're kidding.
You can get an HR executive. You can get a legal executive. You can get someone to help you with your trademark. You can get someone to help you with your business plan. They're just sitting there waiting for you to call. It's crazy.
What do you have to apply for that?
What do you have to do to qualify for that?
Access to the SCORE committee, or
go to SBA and tell them that you want a SCORE representative. You want a mentor. That's it. That is it. It's free. No charge.
A wealth of information. There's all these things out there. We just need to know where they are. And part of what you're saying is, we all know that there's sexism and racism, and we have to deal with it. But part of it is on us and how we present.
Absolutely.
You got to walk in prepared for that and confident enough to overcome it. And you think networking with other people gives us the confidence to do that?
Absolutely. And I love our new vice president, first African-American vice president. Her famous quote is, "I eat no for breakfast. It's a tasty, tasty meal." That's what I want women to say. I'm going to eat this no for breakfast, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to find a way around this no. So I have actually been to several banks. If someone tells me no, I'm going to take my stuff and go to the next bank. And I'm going to get a yes eventually, because I'm probably going to wear you out.
Do you get dejected? Like, do you have that emotional gut punch when they say no, or you come to a place where you don't feel it anymore?
Yes, I get upset. I get upset because, to be honest with you, I have a degree in accounting. I've been through every training that you can think of, Harvard Business School, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 small businesses. I have, run a business for 20 years. So for me, when I walk in the door, and my financials are in shape, clearly, because I'm an accountant. So for me, I feel like when I walk in the door, you should just write the check. Like, literally, let's stop with the games, with the back and forth. Okay. So yeah, of course I get upset, but I'm very much resilient. I think all women are resilient. You have to, dust yourself off and keep going.
Yeah.
I keep in my mind my why. What is my why? Why am I doing this? And that pushes me forward to the next day.
You said that to me the other day, and I actually went down and wrote my why over the weekend. So thank you.
See, I believe in it.
Yeah. Is there a way for consumers to easily find and shop women and minority-owned businesses?
Yes. So that's one of the additional benefits of being networked with WBENC, Women's Business Executive National Council. They do have a directory of women-owned businesses. I mean, over 10,000 women-owned businesses nationwide and in Canada. So yes, you can tap into them, and there's a database, and they have a whole process of helping corporate entities get connected, deeper with women-owned businesses. Many corporates actually have initiatives. They have stated goals. So they work with WBENC to actually accomplish their goals.
I want to get WBENC certified. This is exciting.
Yes, I want you to be WBENC certified.
Call you later. Let's talk a little bit about you. You're a small business owner. You talked. Yes. What kind of sort of specific challenges do you think you encountered as a woman?
As a woman, I think for me, I'm a little bit different in the fact that I have been doing this for so long. I've worked longer for myself than I've worked for other people.
Wow.
I started really right out of college. I only worked for, PricewaterhouseCoopers was my first job out of college, which is one of the big 4 accounting firms. And then I moved to Verizon. But when I look back, I felt like I had been working for other people for 7 or 8 years. But actually, when I look back and counted, I only worked outside of my own company for 5 years. And then I started this firm. So for me, I can't focus on the challenges, and I have, don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it seem Pollyanna, like everything rolls off my shoulders. I think sometimes, though, I can over dramatize something that happens, right? And then when I find out the real, if I don't win a contract, and I'm taking it personal.
All the things, yeah.
Yeah, I have all the things going in my head. But when I talk to the winning bidder, or the person who God puts them in front of me that won the contract, I find out that, they wrote the accounting program when they first launched the business. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess you should have gotten the project. Right? But my initial take is, okay, so I didn't get the project, and I have all these credentials. So I really have to train myself, and this is my work that I'm doing on myself, to not take things personal. Business is not personal. It really isn't. People do business with people who they like, and that's a fact. If someone likes you, they want you to be a success, they will work really hard to make that happen. And I've seen that happen over and over and over in my business. We wouldn't have made it today without people, 20 years, without people in our path helping us move forward and really, really advocating for us.
I'll tell you, it's one thing, and this is changing, but I remember in Washington, I used to see among men and male reporters and their sources, they would all help each other in a way that women had to learn to do.
Yes.
Like, we've developed into this, but it's like we were conditioned early on not to do that in some ways. And it's like it's a game change that it's changing.
Yeah, I do see some changes. I think that my generation, I'm Gen X. I believe you're Gen X too. I think we're benefiting from the real big push for sisterhood. I think it was harder for generations older than us, my mom's generation. I don't think they had that much camaraderie. I have been very, very blessed to have some amazing women in my life. I mean, women who run billion-dollar businesses, $50 million, $60 million businesses that I can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, this is happening. I need your help. I need your advice. So for me, that's a game changer. And I do see that more now for me than maybe my mom's generation, for sure.
So give us the information for folks who are, first of all, they're saying you're amazing. You've inspired me. I want to start a business now.
Do it. We need as many. Listen, if I get to the top, which I am, I'm ascending to the top. I don't want to be alone. I want all my sisters with me because it's more fun, right? We know how to have a good time. So I want all my sisters with me. But what's your question? I'm sorry. I think I didn't ask your question.
Sign up for the WBENC registration. How do you get certified?
Yes.
What you point people to?
So the acronym is WBENC, WBENC.org. So you can go on there, find out about WBENC. If you're already a business, if you want to learn about 10KSB, which is Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, go to 10KSB, apply, look into that program. It's free, and the value of it is about $60,000 worth of entrepreneur education, all free. So look into that as well. And if you want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, Chanel Christoff Davis. You can ask me questions, but I definitely want women to know that we are in a renaissance. You said the stats, right? At the top of the show. I mean, we are generating I think the last stat I saw was 1,800 new businesses per day in 2020. Net new women are starting in those numbers, which is phenomenal. But my concern is that we're not going to reach out for help and resources. So I definitely want to drive that home. Learn from my mistake, right? And this is what I do every day. I have a list, a checklist of women that I check in with once a month. People who mentor me. I mentor tons of women. We have to do that. We have to continue to lift as we climb.
I love it. Okay, and I'm going to maybe embarrass you or not, but I like the painting behind you. Who's the artist?
Me.
I just heard that you
Of course. This is my latest painting I just completed. I thought it was beautiful for Women's International Day, so I thought I'd put it back there.
How long does it take you to paint something like that?
It took me probably about a good solid month to get that done. Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Starting and stopping. Thank you. Thank you.
Got a lot of skills. Chanel, thank you so much for the time and information. And people can follow you on Instagram. I'll post your handle. And they can check out your podcast. What's your podcast called? Let everyone know.
Follow the Leader and stay tuned because we're going to have a wink, wink, fab guest that's going to be on my show pretty soon.
I did the podcast earlier this week.
Yes, and you were fabulous.
It was so fun to talk to you.
Yes.
I'd love to do this again sometime. You're really inspiring people.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right.
And to everyone, I'm going to post this in the gallery so you can rewatch and share. See you soon.